Hi everyone, Deficio here. As we're heading into summer split, I want to spend a little bit of time now on just kind of recapping our off season, getting everyone up to date on what's been happening here in Misfits, and also talk a little bit about our spring split, of course. And starting with the spring split, we obviously entered the year making quite some changes, as you guys all know, to the team. We added in, especially around the LEC team, some new rookies in Hirid and Deficio, and then also we added in Vander, obviously in the support role to add even more experience to what could have been a bit of an inexperienced team in our mind. And we kind of entered the LEC split without like that clear goal in our mind about like where do we have to end in spring in order for it to be a success. Instead, we wanted to kind of focus on seeing how this team could mesh together and really try to give space for our rookies to develop without too much pressure on them. And I think we saw both from Hirid and Deficio that they really ended up having a great spring split and a split they can be very proud of, which we're very happy with and obviously sets us up very nicely for the summer split, which was one of our, big ambitions for spring itself. For the academy team, obviously we kind of revamped most of it, Aggressivo being the only remaining member from last year. And we built that team with that clear goal of we wanted to win France, we wanted to win EU Masters. Unfortunately, looking at the results, we lost to one of the strongest ERL teams we have probably seen in many years in K-Corp in France. And then we ended up getting knocked out in the quarterfinals at EU Masters to Excel. Full credit to them. They played super well and deserved the spot in the final. But in the end, all of us, we looked at that, players and Misfits, and said, you know what, we can do better. Like, we have to aim higher for this kind of team. So we go into summer with that clear goal again. We want to win France. We want to win EU Masters with the lineup that we have. I want to also briefly just talk about some additions we added in spring during the season that wasn't really announced on our side. It was mainly behind the scene things. We got in two performance coaches called Owen and Ruben around week 4 to assist the team. We had that rough period, if people remember, after we started 2-1 and then we lost a bunch of games, week 2, week 3, week 4. So we added in Owen and Ruben to come in and kind of really help deal with conflicts in a team, mindset, and kind of get us a bit out of a slump that we were in. And they both had tremendous value in really helping structuring how we were working, changing the way we were thinking, and really getting us to look towards much better things in the upcoming weeks there during spring. And we saw the effect. I think our second half was very good. We started seeing a much more consistent play from us as a team. We found an identity as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we also saw after a couple of weeks, our rookies really managed to find their place here in the LEC together with our veteran players. So heading into the off seasons, we only had 3 main objectives. One, we obviously wanted to find the best solution with Denik for what was going to happen for summer. 2, we had some coaching things we needed to sort out. And 3, we wanted to basically prepare as much as possible so we were as ready as possible for when the preseason begins and we could get ready for week 1 of the LEC. So starting with the Denik point, obviously he was competing with Vander for the support role in spring. And obviously we knew with Denik that we wanted to find a solution that worked really well for both of us. And Denik made it very clear, he was happy to stay and keep competing, but if there was, another LEC team who came knocking on the door, he was very interested in, of course, exploring that option. So when Excel came and showed interest, it was very easy for both of us to say, hey, go there, do your tryouts, do your interviews, and then we see what happens. And, really happy for Denik. I think Excel made a really great choice here in signing him. And I wish him, of course, the best of luck. Maybe less so when he plays against Misfits, but I think Denik is going to do great here in the summer split for them. For the coaching side, during the spring split, we had a fairly large coaching staff, people performing different tasks. And we also added in, as I mentioned earlier in the video, Owen and Ruben as the performance coaches to get even more help outside of the game. So that meant that we had a lot of people kind of finding their individual tasks that they really focused on and we became much more of a machine, much more of a unit than like the classic, head coach who has 7-8 different responsibilities and so on and so on. Now this meant obviously for Enetron, who was our head coach coming into Spring Split, that things were a bit different than maybe anticipated when we started the year. So we sat down with him here in the off season and kind of discussed how the head coach role could look heading into summer, what he was really looking for and how he wanted to operate himself. And we both ended up agreeing that him looking for a different team where he could be the head coach and kind of do everything the way he wanted would be a better fit for him. So he got to explore in the off season and he found a new team that he's very happy with. And of course, we wish him best of luck. We will miss you, Enetron. But again, we hope for the best for you in your new team. Now, this obviously means that we have an open spot as our head coach, with main focus being in-game, being strategic, the draft, and so on. And we've decided to promote internally. So Alex, or Candy Floss, who was our strategic coach here in the Spring Split, will be promoted up to be our new head coach for LEC. Very happy with Alex and everything he's shown here in the Spring Split. A fantastic coach for sure. And then we've also taken Sani, our academy coach, and we have promoted him to become Alex's assistant, the strategic coach, as we normally call it, for the LEC. So those two guys will mainly be focusing on in-game things and drafts and so on, and just make sure we play as well as we can in the game itself. For the academy head coach position, we are very excited to announce that we're going to be bringing back Hiva to Misfits. He will step in and take that academy coach role. He's already shown, of course, multiple times in the past his skill set as a coach. He is a previous member of Misfits, so we know him very, very well. And just super happy to bring back a person with that kind of game knowledge, and really think that Hiva can add so much value, not only to the academy team, but also to the LEC team, where he's obviously going to be able to work very closely with the staff and assist them there as well. So that's for the 3 coaching positions. Of course, we also have Owen and Ruben extended as the 2 performance coaches coming into the summer split. So we make sure that we have them really helping us take care of a lot of things outside of the game on the mental side and kind of keeping some of that structure in place. We of course have Hachi still here with us. We're changing his title. It was originally kind of head coach of all of Misfits. We're changing that to being the sports director. His job is to oversee that competitive side, work very closely with the coaches, and make sure that everything we're doing here makes sense and we're tracking everything and we're able to really, build a really strong setup around our players. Michael, or Balls, is our GM still, overseeing everything that we're doing, of course, here in the office in Misfits Europe, and making sure the day-to-day just functions completely for us. And we're also adding in 2 new analysts to assist both the LEC and the academy team. It is Hajima coming in, another Polish member joining the big Polish family here in Misfits, and then Chaos That, a Croatian analyst who's worked closely with Sani in the past. Both of them did extremely well in our interview process, and we're very excited to bring them on board here with our entire Misfits staff. So that's a lot of info, a lot of names, titles, and so on. Super quick recap just to wrap up kind of the coaching setup. Alex / Candy Flush, head coach LEC, Sani, strategic coach LEC. Those are the 2 guys taking care of everything in game and the draft. We have Hiva as the academy head coach coming in, Owen and Rupen as our 2 performance coaches, Hachi as a sports director, Michael as our general manager, and Hajima and Chaos Dad as our 2 new analysts joining. That is the full recap. And now, of course, we're just looking forward to summer. Everything is just 100% on preseason right now. The teams are scrimming. The coaches are doing everything they can to get us as ready for week 1. The goal and the ambition for summer, much higher than we had for spring. We need to make playoffs. We need to contend for Worlds. It's that simple for us here in Misfits. When it comes to the LEC, for Academy, we need to win France and we need to win New Masters. Those are our clear goals for our 2 teams. We believe we have the setup to do it. We believe we've been able to use Spring Split very well to learn a lot of things and really build a very strong foundation around both the teams, and we have great chemistry among the staff and the players right now, and I'm very optimistic. We want a strong start to summer, and I believe we're gonna get it. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much for cheering for us as well in the spring split. It was amazing to see the viewership, both for our LEC team being the 5th most watched in the LEC itself, but also for our academy team, of course, and the French league just popping off like crazy. So thank you so much to all the Misfits fans and everyone cheering for us. And yeah, we hope you get to enjoy our games here in summer.